Garifuna is a minority language still widely spoken in villages of Garifuna people in the western part of the northern coast of Central America. It is a member of the Arawakan languages family, but an atypical one since it is spoken outside of the Arawakan language area, which is otherwise confined to the northern parts of South America, and because it contains an unusually high number of loanwords from both Carib languages and a number of European languages because of an extremely tumultuous past involving warfare, migration and colonization. The language was once confined to the Antillean islands of St. Vincent and Dominica, but its speakers, the Garifuna people, were deported en masse by the British in 1797 to the north coast of Honduras, from where the language and Garifuna people have since spread along the coast south to Nicaragua and north to Guatemala and Belize. It is still widely spoken in many Garifuna villages throughout this coastal region. In recent years, a large number of Garifunas have settled in larger U.S. cities, presumably as part of a more general pattern of northbound migration. Parts of Garifuna vocabulary are split between men's speech and women's speech, and some concepts have two words to express them, one for women and one for men. Moreover, the terms used by men are generally loanwords from Carib, while those used by women are Arawakan. The Garifuna language was declared a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity in 2008, along with Garifuna music and dance. Distribution. Garifuna is spoken in Central America, especially in Honduras, but also in Guatemala, Belize, Nicaragua, and the U.S., particularly in New York City, where it is spoken in Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. By the 1980s, the influx of Central Americans made languages including Garifuna begin having a presence in Houston. The first feature film in the Garifuna language, Garifuna in Peril, was released in 2012. History. The Garinagu are a mix of West Central African, Arawak, and Carib ancestry. Though they were captives removed from the homelands, these people were never documented as slaves. The two prevailing theories are that they were the survivors of two recorded shipwrecks, or they somehow took over the ship on which they came. The more Western and Central African-looking people were transferred by the British from St. Vincent to islands in the Bay of Honduras in 1796. The linguistic ancestors, Carib people, who gave the name to the Caribbean, once lived throughout the Lesser Antilles, and although the language is now extinct there, ethnic Caribs still live on Dominica, Trinidad, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent. The Caribs had conquered the previous population of the islands, Arawakan peoples like the Taino and Palicua peoples. During the conquest, which was conducted primarily by men, the Carib married Arawakan women. Children were raised by the mothers speaking Arawak, but as boys came of age, the fathers taught them Carib, a language still spoken in mainland South America. When European missionaries described the island Carib people in the 17th century, they recorded two unrelated languages, Carib spoken by the men and Arawak spoken by the women. However, while the boys acquired Carib vocabulary, after a few generations, they retained the Arawakan grammar of the first language. Thus, Island Carib, as spoken by men, was genetically either a mixed language or a relaxified language. Over the generations, men substituted fewer Arawak words, and many Carib words diffused to the women, so the amount of distinctly male vocabulary diminished until both genders spoke Arawak, with an infusion of Carib vocabulary and distinct words in only a handful of cases. Vocabulary. The vocabulary of Garifuna is composed as follows: 45% Arawak, 25% Carib, 15% French, 10% English, 5% Spanish or English technical terms. Also, there are also some few words from African languages. Comparison to Carib gender differences. Relatively few examples of diglossia remain in common speech, and men and women use different words for the same concept, such as otildanusia for the pronoun I. Most such words are rare and often dropped by men. For example, there are distinct Carib and Arawakan words for man and women, 4 words altogether, but in practice, the generic term mutu is used by both men and women and for both men and women, with grammatical gender agreement on a verb, adjective, or demonstrative, distinguishing whether mutu refers to a man or to a woman. There remains, however, a diglossic distinction in the grammatical gender of many inanimate nouns, with abstract words generally being considered grammatically feminine by men and grammatically masculine by women. Thus, the word acute yu may mean either concrete, sun, or abstract, day, with the meaning of day. Most men use feminine agreement, at least in conservative speech, while women use masculine agreement. The equivalent of the abstract impersonal pronoun in phrases like, it is necessary, is also masculine for women but feminine in conservative male speech. Grammar. Personal pronouns with independent personal pronouns. Garifuna distinguishes grammatical gender. The forms o and amuru are of Cariban origin, and the others are of Arawakan origin. Plural of nouns. Pluralization of nouns is irregular and is realized by means of suffixing izani, child, izani gu, children, waguri, man, waguri na, men, hanaru, woman, hinaru, new, women, itu, sister, itu, new, sisters. The plural of Garifuna is garinagu. Possession on nouns is expressed by personal prefixes abagari, life, enabagari, my life, biabagari, your life, elabagari, his life, tiabagari, her life, wabagari, our life, habagari, your life, habagari, the life. Verb. For the Garifuna verb, the grammatical tense, grammatical aspect, grammatical mood, negation, and person are expressed by affixes, partly supported by particles. The paradigms of grammatical conjugation are numerous. Examples: the conjugation of the verb aliha, to read, in the present continuous tense, n alihana, I am reading, b alihana, you are reading, l alihana, he is reading, t alihana, she is reading, y lihana, we are reading, h alihana, you are reading, lihana, they are reading. The conjugation of the verb aliha, to read, in the simple present tense, alihatina, I read, alihatibu, you read, alihati, he reads, alihatu, she reads, alihatua, we read, alihatiyu, you read, alihatinus, they read, alihatina, they read. There are also some irregular verbs, numerals, from 3 upwards. The numbers of Garifuna are exclusively of French origin and are based on the vigesimal system, which, in today's French, is apparent at 80. 1 equals aban, 2 equals bina, biama, bayan, 3 equals urufa, 4 equals gaduru, 5 equals singu, 6 equals cc, 7 equals sadu, 8 equals widu, 9 equals nefu, 10 equals dc, 11 equals unsu, 12 equals dusus, 13 equals taresi, 14 equals katorsu, 15 equals kansi, 16 equals discc, 17 equals disadu, 18 equals disiwidu, 19 equals disefu, 20 equals vine, 30 equals darandi, 40 equals biamavine, 50 equals demisan, 60 equals urufavine, 70 equals urufavine dc, 80 equals gaduruvine, 90 equals gaduruvine dc, 100 equals san, 1000 equals milu, 1 million equals minonu, Other words, the language uses prepositions and conjunctions. Syntax: the word order is verb subject object.